Good morning, everyone. Slow and steady here. Left the shelter about 15-20 minutes ago. Left about 7:40 in the morning. Met some nice section hikers and a flip-flop thru-hiker. She started in Damascus. She'll go up to Katahdin, then go back and finish Springer to Damascus or Damascus to Springer. We'll see. The other guys are doing a 250, 280 mile section. Real nice people. It was good. Good night's sleep. It was toasty warm after drying the sleeping bags in the sun at the shelter. Definitely a good idea to pull up short yesterday. My feet and legs feel a lot better today. No ibuprofen this morning. So we'll see how they feel as we go along today. Today really trying to do 20, but looks like a lot nicer terrain today to do 20 in. Yesterday was just a lot of steep climbs and a little difficult, so we'll see. As I say that, we just started the first decent climb that we would have had to do to get 20 yesterday. And I was definitely not in the shape to do it yesterday. With that said, I'm gonna start sucking wind here. You know, it looks flat on the camera, but it is not. And I gotta go up that away somewhere. But we'll catch up a few times today. Looks like the weather's gorgeous today. Can't see it, it's a little cloudy, but the sun is trying to poke out and supposed to warm up real nice. It was 35 this morning. Excellent short weather, but not warm enough to take the other long sleeve layers off yet. Now this morning we have a water crossing coming up, another mile or two. See if it's convenient to get that on camera. I've heard shin deep, I've heard knee, I've heard ankle. The bridge is gone, so we'll see. Stay tuned.
Trying to see if the dirty girl gators keep your feet dry. Oh, no. They won't. I'll take a shower. If Trixie was here,
Yeah.
you just stop it.
All right, if the creek's too high, they do have a rope here to help you go across, and there's a dog leash over there to act like a zip line. You can use it to balance as you cross across. Today it's pretty shallow. It was ankle deep. And of course I was joking with the dirty girl gators. They keep the leaves out, not the water. There's a little high altitude pond, like 4,000 plus feet. And we're up on a small bald, getting ready to climb up to a much taller one here in a minute. Beautiful views all the way around. Once those trees fill in though, you won't see anything. We'll take some more pictures once we get up top. So we just saw on Peak Finder, that's Mount Rogers over there. All right, coming up on Chestnut Knob Shelter. It's windy as heck out here. Fully enclosed shelter. Nice stone place because the weather can be pretty rotten up here. Let's take a couple pictures, take a break and move on. It's about halfway point today, 10 miles. Here's lunch today. If it wasn't freezing cold wind blowing 30 miles an hour, it'd be be a nice spot, but it is gorgeous up here. And this is right next to the Chestnut Knob Shelter. We're going to climb down, descend about another 10 miles or so today. One little climb, 500 footer on the way down, but that's nothing. Let me take a couple of pictures here. This is unbelievable scenery here in front of me. I'll show you. Here's the best view of an upcoming hike that I've had since I've been out here. I think we're hiking this ridge line. I guess it's possible it could be one behind it, but I think it's this one. We'll find out soon. See, we go down in this little notch here and follow that ridge all the way down that way somewhere to a shelter. We'll see if it's this one or not. It'll be obvious if it is, this little farm town here. Stay tuned. If so, we're talking 10 miles to our shelter, which would be at the very end up there, if that's it. It's always possible it's those mountains back here too. Find out in a minute. To say it's breezy is an understatement. It's blowing hard across the ridge. And that is the ridge that I pointed out a minute ago. It is here. And we'll walk along it all day. No idea if you can hear me or not, so I'll talk real close and we'll catch up here once I get on the ridge and see some views. That was fun during one of the crazy gusts as it came through. A tree fell behind me across the trail. It was probably 50, 60 feet behind me. It was loud. It's blocking the trail, but it's not real big, so people will be able to step over it, I'm sure. But I'm looking up a lot more now when those squalls come through, because they're blowing 40, 50, I don't know, 40 at least miles an hour. I'm a little bit sheltered on the trail, but the treetops are not. So if you can tell, just walking this ridge, just like we thought, going up that way. Lots of climbing today, but it's little sections, 50 feet up, 50 feet down, 100 up, 100 down, things like that. We've got another 4 miles of roller coasters uphill before it flattens out and then starts heading back down to camp. Another 7 or 8 miles probably. Stay tuned. It's a jungle of deadfall on a ridge. Just these winds come up and over each side, depending on where the squalls are coming from. Just knock everything down. Anything dead or weak thins it out. And all this stuff decomposes, composts, and flushes downhill and feeds all the next generation of trees. Very interesting. I better shut up and get walking. I still have a long day. Although I think we'll get to camp 4 or 5 o'clock, so be early unless we decide to go a couple more miles, but I imagine after all these rocks my feet are going to protest at 20-mile mark. We'll see. Stand by. Here's a little ridgetop green tunnel full of rhododendron. It's one of the nicer sections for the last several miles. It's been mostly rocky. A little difficult on the feet, so we'll see how the feet hold up at mile 20. Stand by. There's the farmland we could see from earlier. Most of this ridge were hidden from the farmland, but right now we can see it well. I don't know how well it comes through the camera, but there's farmhouses over there. Just a giant bowl of farms. All right, just crossed Virginia, 623. We found a old hunting dog named Spot. Called the owner. They just live over the hill over there. His name's Wayne. He came up, picked him up. Real nice guy. Gave us a little trail magic, some crackers and cheese and I don't know, cookies and other stuff. And then we got up here to this place where you get your whatever it's called, the stuff you put in the toilets. So it says take a plastic bag and take it up there. But then we found Donnie Duck Shuttle Trail Magic Water, which was good because that ridge line for the last 5 or 6 miles was dry. Nothing's that way
no water sources, and another 3 miles before we get some. So chug a lug.
All right, good evening, everyone. Slow and steady here. Of course, you know that. Coming up on Jenkins Shelter. It's about a mile away. Got to stop and get some water before I get to it here in just a tenth of a mile or so. And I'm gonna call Jenkins Shelter home for the night. I'll try. I don't always like to take video and pictures in the shelter if there are a lot of people there, but I'll try to get one or two in there and see who's there and what's going on. If there's a place to tarp or a place inside the shelter, we'll see. Today, that Jenkins will be about I think a little over 20 miles for the day, and I feel it. It wasn't an easy 20 miles. The rocks for that whole 7 or 8 mile ridge line were tough. They were tough to say the least, and they haven't quite ended, but it's a lot better now that I'm descending and got down below where most of those rocks are. But anyway, so it was 20 miles, difficult, thirsty. There's a long stretch there with no water. Luckily, as you saw, Donnie Duck had some water cache at that intersection back there where we found Spot the dog and Wayne the owner. And unlike Spot, who didn't say a word, my dogs are barking. You see them. You hear them? I do. They're screaming. So time for some ibuprofen and good food and lots of water and a long night's sleep. We'll see. Maybe take a little shorter day. Maybe only 15 miles tomorrow. We'll have to see what the terrain looks like and what the food supply looks like and the next resupply and all that good stuff. It all has to be taken into consideration. So with that, I'm going to go find some water, then do the last mile down to Jenkins Shelter. And if I don't catch up with you later, have a good night. If I do, I'll say it again then. Bye.
Here's the sign for the shelter. If you're going northbound, it's around here. I assume that's the shelter trail. The giant green. And the AT goes down there. Let's go see Jenkins. Gotta put a complaint in for my feet. Despite what Far Out says, there are some makeshift walls on this privy. Look like they've recently been stapled up. Anyway, that's a wonderful privy. No front door, but that's okay. Oh, there's a makeshift door, if you can see it. All right, that's enough of the toilet. Well, one last video. Here's tonight's tarp setup. It's called a plow. You've seen it before. You have to stretch it out a little now that it's cooled off some. But it's wide open from this end, as long as the wind's coming this way. Not too organized in there yet, but so I'm sleeping. A little bit of an incline. We'll see how bad I slide tonight. Just one end tied on the tree like this. These two corners staked out, that corner staked out, and I put another guy line here on that pole just to give a little more headroom when I sleep with my head at that end. I don't always sleep, I usually sleep the other way around, but it's too sloped to sleep the other way around now. With that said, it's time for bed. Good night all.